Hello, my beautiful scrappy friends. Jen here with a layout to start the year off with Tuesday's inspiration. Happy 2026 to everybody. I hope you all had a lovely holiday season, however you celebrate and whatever you celebrate. I hope it was great for you. We are starting with that beautiful piece that Mel chose as our inspiration for this week. And I'm kind of excited. So the idea of this series is that myself, Hollie, Mel, and Lynda rotate weekly in picking something that has inspired us, an image of some kind, whether it's a picture that we've taken or that we've seen, or something we saw on Pinterest, a mood board, a color scheme, whatever it may be. It could even be a sketch or another scrapbook page that we want to scrap lift, any type of inspiration, and then we all use that to inspire our project for the week. So we try to play along weekly, and if not, that's okay. We're kind of flexible that way, just playing along as often as we can, but it's kind of fun because it gives us something to work with and kind of, gets these creative juices flowing, and we never know what any of the other participants is going to pick. So that's always kind of fun because there's that little element of surprise to see what they're going to pick and how we can kind of use it to inspire our own layout. So Mel's week is this week, and the idea for how these images inspire you is really for me to kind of think about what pops out first. So apart from this image just being kind of cute, I love the idea that the drawing itself is in grayscale, and then there's just these little pops of color, and those little pops are, kind of almost lit up, like they have a little glow to them, and I thought that was really pretty. And I like the idea of the grayscale, everything kind of being black and white and a little bit sketchy, a little bit watercolory, and kind of wispy. And I have to admit, I have definitely struggled over the past few months with my creativity. My channel numbers have not been doing well. Subscribe if you haven't already and you are watching this. I could really use the support. My watch hours haven't been doing great, and it's really affected my mojo. And so I've kind of put my efforts into other things, running some of the Facebook groups that I've been in, and taking some time with Instagram and that kind of stuff, because I'm feeling a little defeated. And so I really wanted this first layout of the year to just be very free, very kind of artistic, and just something that would make me happy. And what makes me happy is getting a little bit messy and kind of playing around with some, concepts of how to use color and just what to do with my watercolors and stuff like that. And so that's what I'm going for. Something really simple, really fun, really loose. And it was just kind of nice to sit in front of the TV and pull out some water and not have an idea in my head for what this design was going to look like, but just letting my paintbrush kind of dictate what I was going to do. And what I really wanted to capture was that kind of wispy, brush stroke, sketchy kind of feel. So yeah, that's what I went for. And so here is my background, and you saw I started by putting some water on the paper, and it wasn't really kind of blending or doing the things I wanted. And then I kind of flicked my brush a little bit and went, oh yes, that is what I'm trying to capture. That like wispiness, like I almost am using the watercolors more like they are charcoal, and I could just be quickly sketching something on that piece of paper if I was more artistically inclined. And so I really liked that. And so that's what I stuck with. And then for my pops of color, they're kind of these round little orbs or lights of color that you see. And so I knew I had this photo, which is a picture of my youngest, but I have the frame, like the old Facebook frames that you used to be able to get. Some of the organizations that we're a part of, they still do some of these frames. And so I went ahead and grabbed my picture that I did in 2024 of some of the little warrior things that we have for him in March with cerebral palsy and some of his rare disease day stuff. So epilepsy is in there too with the purple, cerebral palsy with the green, then PMG and GMH with the other two colors. So I thought that it kind of gave that round orb-like look, and then also those pops of colors. I could pull in other little, dots of color from these colors that are in the frame. So that is kind of what the plan was and how I took that sketch and kind of rolled with it. So while my watercolors are drying, I did a few extra little splatters, and then I did I did grab some mists. I thought, depending on how the watercolor was going to look, if I needed a little bit of extra intense black, or I wanted to kind of use those mists to give just different textures and different looks to the watercolors, that I could do that too. One of them is black and one of them is that tinsel color, so it's kind of got that shimmery silver look to it. I decided to just go ahead and splatter them and let that dry. I really debated whether I was going to leave my picture as a square and frame the whole thing in black or cut it out like I did here, and I decided to go with cutting it out because the lights in the photo are kind of they're circles, obviously they're like dots, but I also felt like all of the lines in that image are very soft and wispy, and so I feel like the circle is a softer shape. I almost said a softer color. I mean a softer shape, and just kind of lent itself to more of the feel of the image. So I went ahead and cut it out. I just eyeballed it. I didn't pull out a punch or a circle cutter or anything like that. And then I framed it in black just to give it a little extra kind of boost so it would pop out off of the background really well. And now I'm using some recycling to go ahead and pop it up. I was trying to think if I had any foam left over. I have officially run through my entire Big Mama foam tape roll. I have none left from Spiegel Mom Scraps. I'm so sad. And so I'll have to get some more from Scrap Shots. But for now, I was just looking to see what I could find. And if you have bubble envelopes that you don't think you're going to be reusing, or you've ripped into them, they do actually make good little kind of foam dimensional backing. I don't know. I know someone's probably going to say, are they like acid free? What is the longevity of them? I don't really know. But for now, it is what I found. It is a good way to use it so it doesn't end up in the landfill. And it was kind of ripped on the other side, so I probably wasn't going to reuse it to send any mail. It's too expensive to send mail right now anyways, so I'm recycling it by using it as my dimensional piece to pop up my little circle and just, again, kind of give it that extra little fighting chance behind the background, which really there isn't a lot going on with this background. And then to create my little dots of light, or my little glowing lights, I went into my stash and found some of these little gems and dots that I have. I think all of them are from either Dollarama or Dollar Tree. And they're just those kind of things that you collect, and then they sit in your stash and you don't use a ton of them, or maybe you have a very specific project, so you buy them, you use them for that one project, and then you don't really ever pull them out again. It's those kinds of things. And so I don't usually keep the whole packs. I usually just cut a chunk off, and just kind of have a few around, because they make great little replacements for enamel dots or sequins or that kind of thing. But yeah, I had a few in my stash, and they're kind of those basic colors that you see in the photo: greens, yellows, pinks, purples, some blues, and they're all different finishes. So those larger ones are kind of like a glittery finish, and then I have little teeny tiny ones that are more of a pearl finish, and then the medium-sized ones, shall we say, actually have the little laser cuts in them, so they look kind of like a gem. So I'm just dotting those around, and that's actually it. This is all that I am going to do. This made my heart so happy to just pop a photo on there, play with a little bit of watercolor. It took me just the right amount of time that I got to pull out some of my supplies, but didn't feel like I had to, get something done and then get dinner on and then, rush to get it edited and voiced over. You can see it's dark in my room because it gets dark really early here. It's like, by 5 o'clock, it's usually pretty dark now. So I find it's hard sometimes to film and get everything done. In the winter, the days just seem shorter and more rushed. And so I felt like this was just perfect. I'm even in my jammies. Look at that. I was so comfy. Got home from work and, got dinner started and decided to just get comfy and do a little bit of creative time for myself. And I love it. It's very simple, but it has a big impact. And I think it definitely reminds me of the inspiration photo. And I debated whether I was actually going to post this as a video because it wasn't very long, so I didn't have a lot to film and share with you, but I decided I am going to show it because this is what my 2026 is going to be all about. Just doing the things that make me happy, bringing you along for the journey, for the ride, and I hope it inspires you to let go of some of those rules and expectations and just create the layouts that make you happy. So that is it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Again, please subscribe and follow my other accounts, and I will be back again soon. So until then, happy scrapping. Bye.